Welcome to the Creator Spotlight, the interview portion of the Spotlight here on Fightful. I, as always, am Steven Jensen here with Jeremy Lambert. And today our guest is an artist and a cosplayer and a big Cody Rhodes fan. And somebody I'm looking forward to talking to today. We have Ashley, a.k.a. Ashley and Cosplay on the show. Ashley, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
We're doing awesome. Thank you very much for joining us today. I'm very much looking forward to this. Yes.
Yeah, same here.
I'm gonna go ahead and put Jensen on the spot. He was like, I got Ashley and Cosplay for the show. I was like, okay. I don't quite know much about you, and that's what we're here for, to learn a little bit more about you. I go to the Twitter page. First thing I see is this Cody Rhodes stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is the bit right here. The Cody Rhodes connection unites. But before we get into all of that, Ashley, tell us, everyone, how you kind of got started with all the cosplay stuff in the world of wrestling.
So I've been cosplaying since about 2017, so about 6 years now, but I actually didn't specifically get into like the wrestling cosplay thing until like this past year. I'm actually a pretty new wrestling fan, even though like very diehard, don't get me wrong, but still within like the past year. But as soon as I started doing wrestling cosplays, that's actually all I've created because they're just like so fun and colorful. Like, what else would I get to work on that looks like USA threw up all over it? So like,
yes,
it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, it takes a lot of work. Like, I was watching the video. I think it's your pinned tweet, actually. It's a video of you putting together the American Nightmare, like, inspired, well, the cosplay of Cody Rhodes. And the thing is, like, perfect. It looks really, really incredible. And I could tell it took a lot of work. Like, I guess when you got into doing cosplay, was that something you were prepared for? Like, you knew it was going to be a lot, like you wanted to do? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't make all their own stuff too. I don't know a whole lot about the world of cosplay. So you can tell us about kind of like the labor side of it too, because it looks like a lot of work goes into it.
Yeah, well, when I got started like 6 years ago, I don't think I ever would have thought tackling something like this, but because everything I learned pretty much comes from YouTube. Like if it's out there to learn, it's on YouTube. And luckily, like I've kind of like learned some basic sewing throughout the years, a lot of trial and error on things. So by the time it came to this, like I kind of knew how I could approach it. And you can even see it in that pinned tweet with that video that I actually started off with a sketch. Like I have a pretty strong art background, so I always start everything with a sketch, and that helps me like break it down, like what I think certain things could be made out of. And I was able to like get the shapes of all the pieces on there and then just start plotting it out and just like really got to go in and see what works and what doesn't, shed a few tears and just keep going.
Have you accumulated any like actual injuries doing that? Like, it looks like you're working with like a lot of, equipment that could hurt you.
Yeah, well, I definitely have like heat gun scars from like setting down a heat gun and like putting my arm on it, but actually like working on that Cody Rhodes jacket, I always tell this story to explain like how labor intensive it actually was, but I was doing like this repetitive motion with like ironing on this like heat and bond stuff to get all that like glittery trim, and it's like it's all in the video, but I like was continuously like ironing and ironing, and I gave myself like actual tendonitis in my wrist, and like I couldn't even like use my wrist for a whole week and had like a little brace for it. So that was just like part of the fun with that cosplay.
I noticed in that video that you had like at one point your hand was like wrapped, so it looked like something had happened. So
it was like I took a good week off of it, and I had like an end goal for it because I wanted to wear it to C2E2, which is probably like the largest Comic-Con in the Chicagoland area where I'm from. And I was like, all right, we're like 2 weeks out. I just took a week off so I can like heal my wrist. I'm like, all right, we got to power through.
You mentioned that you're not like a longtime wrestling fan, but you are a devoted fan. So what got you into wrestling? What caught your attention? Like, oh, okay, this is something I can enjoy.
I love telling this story because it's just so unusual. But so like I said, about a year ago is when I first got into it. And like for years before that, we've been like going to watch the pay-per-views, like WWE pay-per-views with our friends. So I was like well aware of wrestlers and the whole thing. But those friends that we used to hang out with to watch the pay-per-views actually entered this contest to get married at WrestleMania this past year. And like they were the perfect people to do it too. Like they sent in a video and everything, and like I knew they were gonna win it, and they did, and they got to pick like 4 people who could come with them. So I was one of the people. We flew to Dallas. We got to spend the whole weekend there. We went to All Access, which is where they actually got married at, and then went to like both nights of WrestleMania. And I was just like, this is so cool. Like it was amazing. So like I got to be there when Cody Rhodes returned, and I think like obviously my world changed in that moment, I guess. And then we flew home, and that Monday, like I had never actually sat down and watched like a Raw or SmackDown. I'm like, I have to know what he's gonna say. Like I'm invested now. So yeah, that Monday we watched Raw, and like every week since then, I'm like, got 10 plus hours of wrestling to watch. So that was like the whole start to it.
That is an insane way to just fall in love with wrestling. Of like, yeah, my friends are taking me to WrestleMania, and I mean, it was a great show last year. A lot of big moments.
Oh my God,
Rhodes,
yeah.
Cody Rhodes' return at the top of the list. Steve Austin wrestling for the first time in like 2 decades. Like, yeah, it was a hell of a show to be at. Shout out to your friends, by the way, for winning that contest. Awesome. And as someone, as someone who loves love, like that's the way to do it, to get married at WrestleMania like that, winning that contest.
It was cool. Like, yeah, it took place at All Access, and like we got to be there. They like came out, like it was a whole thing. They got legit married, but like Dana Brooke was like the bridesmaid, and like Tamina was there, and it was just I was like, what is going on?
I was gonna ask if wrestlers were involved. So Dana Brooke and Tamina were there. Any men as the groomsmen? Were there any male superstars?
Tozawa was there, and oh my God, why am I blanking on his name?
Was R-Truth?
He wears a mask. He wears a mask in NXT now, and I like
Axiom.
Oh yeah, Reggie. Reggie. Yeah, it was 24/7 stuff. Yeah.
So that makes sense. Yeah,
it was all the like 24/7.
Yeah,
but they were just like so cool, and I'm just like they got to pick their walkout music, like what they got to come out to, and it was just like so amazing.
Did they go with John Cena?
No, which we laugh about this because my friend Sam was like, they couldn't decide on the song, and like they asked them on the spot, like, okay, what do you want to walk out to like right now? And they panicked and were like, I guess I like Riddle. And then like looking back, he's like, I like Riddle, but like not that much.
Our entrance song at our wedding, my wife, I wanted the John Cena song. We came out, that was our grand entrance songs. Like, we're coming out to John Cena, and she amazingly went along with it. So
I guess I should share this story now, because I'm getting married in November. And
congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, my fiance is a musician and has recorded a lot of music, and I don't want to like spoil this for the people going to my wedding, but he's been working on making like a Canon and D inspired version of Cody Rhodes' theme, and like I heard like the first 30 seconds of it, and I'm just like, this is so cool. So we're dying.
That rules. That rules. That's awesome. That's gonna be Jensen's song whenever he gets married.
Yeah,
he's 100% coming out to Cody Rhodes.
Yes, please, send me it. I would love to hear a copy of that. I'm not even kidding.
Same.
Awesome. Yes. Man, there's so many things I want to ask about all that, but I don't even know where to.
Like really quickly.
So I guess like the main. When it comes to Cody and like you becoming a big fan and everything and all the work you put into cosplaying like that, for like him specifically, like why Cody? It's a pretty simple question, I guess, but like why, like what like draws so much attention to him over like there's so many wrestlers, and like to choose to put so much effort into like replicating him.
I feel like I've asked myself this question so many times. It's like sometimes it just chooses you. But no, I think a big part of it is with me physically being there when he returned, because like I knew a little bit of him and like AEW and that whole history. And then like, I don't know, it was just so like to be there in that moment, like totally unreal. And I was just like, also just drawn to the cool jacket, to be honest, because I love a good design. I could see myself making that. But then, yeah, the promo on Raw that following Monday was like, I think I was like sobbing on the couch. So it just kind of happened.
Have you seen the giant jacket he had at AEW? I think it was for Grand Slam that took the entire entranceway. They just a monstrosity of a thing. With
I love
Cody.
how dramatic he is. No, I love like all the old like gear he's had is so cool. And then especially if I weren't so like scarred from having the like wrist issues, like the one from Rumble that was like black with all the chain mail on one side was just like, God, I want it.
How many? I think I might have seen actually on. I know the one of your pinned tweets said 74 hours is how long that took. Is that pretty normal? Like, or is that like extra long for like? Because like I've seen. I mean, you're not just in wrestling. You have to understand. Like, if you go to her Twitter, it's here on the screen in cosplay_. Like, there's like it's not just this Cody Rhodes. I mean, I'm focusing on it. I'm obviously a big Cody Rhodes fan. We're a wrestling channel, but like, it's not just this outfit that you put together. Like, a lot of these things are like super elaborate.
Yeah, I would say that one was pretty quick. I mean, I know that's a lot of hours, but like the thing that I made from scratch was just the jacket. Whereas like I have a lot of other cosplays where like I did like head to toe everything. I used to be like big in doing cosplay competitions, so it was very much everything from scratch. And I'm trying to remember back now, but I know one was up to like 124 hours or something spent on it. Like that was over the course like 6 months, but I would say, I don't know, I could easily spend forever working on one thing, but 74 hours for one jacket is still probably pretty insane.
What are some of the big cosplay outfits that you did before getting into wrestling?
I started off by doing a lot of Star Wars stuff. So I did like the first thing I did was Jyn Erso from Star Wars Rogue One because it had just come out. So that was a big one. I don't know if you guys are Star Wars fans, but I did a like full suit of armor for Captain Phasma from the newer movies. It was really cool. And then I kind of done like a lot of Marvel DC stuff. Like I made like a Winter Soldier arm. Right before the whole wrestling saga started, I was really into Peacemaker. So our buddy John Cena, but
yeah.
like a full Peacemaker cosplay, everything. So I'm like all over the place with stuff.
I guess kind of what came first, or is it all kind of all together as far as like getting into that scene, I guess in general, of like wanting to go to conventions, like being that big of a fan to even want to attend, but then to take it like the next level and be like, I want to be like, a even bigger part of this. Because I'm sure you probably have people that like come up to you like and like ask for pictures and stuff, I'd imagine, because you look like you're a part of like the convention,
Yeah, for sure. And like I went all in because the first time I cosplayed was the first Comic-Con I attended, so I just like was all in on it. I know the cosplay thing isn't for everybody, but I just loved it because you get people who like want to come up to you and talk to you about it. Like it's definitely a way to like express yourself because wearing Cody Rhodes to a Comic-Con, obviously everybody's like, oh, you like Cody Rhodes. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. But like then it's like just starts a conversation about like wrestling and everything, and it's just kind of like another level of like getting to enjoy that whole convention experience. I tried to like go as a normal person one day to a Comic-Con, and I was just like, something's missing. Like I need to be wearing a really uncomfortable outfit right now, or else it does not feel right.
I was about to ask like if it was kind of like empowering or like nerve-wracking, because like you put so much work into something like that, and like you go out and people are going to be looking and like judging it. So like I'm sure you get nervous, or at least the way that I would be getting nervous, like what people are going to think of it. But at the same time, like it looks badass. So like you like walk out into public, and you got to kind of be a pro wrestler yourself out there and like kind of play the part,
Yeah, you do kind of have to just like own it. And like it always feels weird right away. Like usually we're staying at like a hotel like connected or like maybe down the road. So you're like getting in an elevator with like normal people going about their day like in this crazy costume. But like the second you get like the first compliment or the first person that recognizes it, it's like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a Cloud9. I'm the shit. Like,
yes. Yeah, we can refer to them as normies here, by the way. It's okay.
Yeah,
like,
that's kind of the
yeah.
the normies.
Yeah, once you get past the normies and that's I get that. That's awesome. I also this is something I didn't want to forget to ask about. It's kind of a little off topic, but I'm a big Fortnite player. Like I've been playing since since the day it came out.
Like Fortnite.
Yeah, awesome. So I was one of those people that like I sucked at PUBG. So when Fortnite was like announced that they were doing a battle royal, this would have been I guess like 2017 or something like that. I remember downloading it because it was free. So like me and my friends all had systems and PCs and stuff. We were like, we can just play this new free game and see if we're better because we keep getting killed in PUBG. Let's just start playing Fortnite. And I still play it to this day. Me and my brother played duos. We played the other night together. So like, I saw that you have a creator code for Fortnite, which by the way is and cosplay with underscore. I think is what.
Yes, also with underscore.
And cosplay with an underscore. Use her creator code, which is awesome. How did you even get a creator code? That struck my eye seeing you had one of those. That's really cool.
Oh my god, this is like a whole nother life story. No, so I got so into Fortnite like during the beginning of COVID because like there was nothing else to do and I was like lived at home by myself and I started playing and my friends and I would play and like attend all the like live concerts and game together and we're like, oh, we're actually together. But
yes,
then I started like actually cosplaying Fortnite, but at the time like everything was shut down. There was no Comic-Con, so like I was using TikTok a lot, and those videos really took off. Like kids love Fortnite, but kids are also really mean. I got bullied by so many kids on the internet, but yeah, those videos really took off. Like my TikTok just like went through the roof and
that's awesome.
I was able to like actually apply for a creator code. So I was able to get that through them. And I've actually since doing all those cosplays was able to do like some collaborations with Epic Games and Fortnite, like using cosplay. So it's really cool. Like cosplay really has just been a huge journey, like through so many different pieces of media.
That's so awesome. It's too bad because like you wouldn't be able to cosplay my favorite character or my skin that I've used for a really long time. Now I switched it around a little bit. I use I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, so I do like the Viking skin pretty often.
Oh yeah, the sports skins.
Exactly. So I use that, but I'm a long time user of the Dark Voyager. That's always been my guy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But that's kind of a tough cosplay because it's just like a black astronaut. Like no one would know it's you or be able to see I feel like there wouldn't be too much of like a challenge in it. But I've got a few little Fortnite things back here, like Ninja, like when he put out his merch and stuff.
I had the same Ninja figure up here.
Really, it was so cool when I see streamers. I saw like him, Summit, Dr. Disrespect, all those guys like got their own little like Funko Pop style vinyls and stuff. Like, is that something you would want one day, being a cosplayer? Like, has someone ever made you like any kind of merchandise?
When I was having the big like Fortnite TikTok like surge, it was definitely like a lot of kids that were drawn to that, like of course, and they drew a lot of like art of me like as my cosplay, and like it was really wholesome.
Aw.
That's awesome.
That not all kids are mean.
Yeah, not all. Unfortunately I remember the like mean ones, but
you were just remember it happening. You're like you remember them, like you remember their screen names. You got it like locked in the chamber. Okay.
Yeah, I got them like written down on a list. No, that was a weird time, but like in a good way. It was a really good way to spend like the quarantine era.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on? You mentioned you're a Star Wars fan. I'm fine with Star Wars. I know enough about it. But what are your thoughts on the new Star Wars, the most recent 3?
Oh, so the movie
Yes.
Star Wars.
Yes.
I was like pretty torn. At the time I was just so hyped because like I love Star Wars and was so excited for like more content. But like now in hindsight, I've kind of gotten like, I guess like burnt out on a lot of Star Wars stuff. Same with Marvel too. Like I feel really bad saying it, but it's just been like so much content that I like can't even keep up. I'm like, I haven't even watched the Andor show, the newest one, which was like a spinoff of Rogue One. I haven't even watched it because I'm like, I got I got wrestling to watch every night.
Well, circling back to wrestling.
Good
You know,
segue
if
there.
if anybody, if anybody checks out your Twitter, fan of The Miz, which I love. I'm not the biggest fan of his ring work, but The Miz on the microphone, he's terrific in WWE. Butcher, Blade, and Bunny, you're wearing the shirt for people that can't tell. Like a good mix there. Miz, Butcher, Blade, Bunny. Like, what about these people draws you to them?
Yeah, I'm all over the place. Some of my favorite wrestlers, especially like on the AEW side, I've realized are like, because I like love their YouTube content or I follow them on Twitch. Like Ethan Page was like my first favorite AEW wrestler because of his YouTube channel, and that's like why I started watching AEW. I love Kip Sabian because I follow his Twitch. Same with Penelope Ford. Like they're so cool. Otherwise, I don't know. My tastes are just like they look cool. They have bitchin' music. They're funny online. Those are some of the requirements, but yeah, I'm all over the place with people. I just kind of like gravitate towards random wrestlers.
That's really cool. I'm like Carrot Top on this episode. I got props ready to go. So like this the hat's dirty, don't judge. I've literally had this since this had to have been like 2000. Jeremy, you might know. When was the Miz on Real World Road Rules Challenge back in the day?
2001, I think.
Yeah, this was his first merchandise he ever put out. I bought it off of his website. It was like Be Good Be Bad, it was like Be Good Be Bad Be Miz.com or something like that.
Yeah, that was like early 2000s. I only know because I was like just talking about this with my friends because they were like, "What season do you think it was?" And I was like one or like 2 or 3 maybe, and it ended up being like season 10 of Real World, which is like,
Back to New York was the season that he was on, and that was like when he kind of like he became basically, if people don't know, the Miz started as like his alter ego. He just get really drunk on the show and just start yeah, exactly. He just start like drop kicking trash cans and stuff, carry around like a cardboard WWF kids title and stuff, and like. But what was so cool is like he marketed himself. He started putting out merchandise. He took the money that he went into the challenges when it was like Real World versus Road Rules, and he'd take the money he'd win in that, take it, put himself through wrestling school at UPW, and then like got his like. So he actually just used the whole MTV thing, but his end goal was always to be in the WWE, which is like incredible that he actually accomplished that. So like no matter how people feel about him, you always got to respect that he actually achieved his dream. Like you gotta always respect that.
Yeah, there's really like, as far as a person, there's like nothing to hate. And like, yeah, before I even watched wrestling, like I watched Real World. I remember like why my mom watched it, I have no idea, but she like loved like Biz and Mrs. So I remember watching like the early seasons of that. I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I grew up watching him, so I just like I have an attachment.
Awesome. Ms. and Mrs. wholesome reality show. I love my trash reality show. Yeah, but that is just a wholesome reality show. They seem like such a great couple.
Yeah,
so
I love them.
Yes, Miz is great. He's hosting WrestleMania this year. He's dropping Taylor Swift references on Raw too. I always appreciate that as a big Swiftie. So Butcher and Blade, and then you mentioned the Bunny, Ethan Page. The vlogs is something that I know a lot of people are attracted to AEW because of that, because we're all online here and we see that, and it helps like almost you relate to these people just by watching their vlogs. Is that what you find? Like when you watch like Ethan Page just go on a toy hunt, it's like, oh, he's kind of a nerd like me and doing all of this stuff. Like this is really cool. We have similar interests. He's not just big professional wrestling star Ethan Page. He likes to go around and just collect a bunch of toys like I like to do.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely makes me more attached because like I think he's also just like hilarious like on AEW, but otherwise I would have no idea that he's just like a huge weird dude in like the most loving way. But like I love it. And then like everybody else who's been on his show, like I'm such a fan of Dark Order now because like all those guys are so cool, and like it's just very wholesome. Like I feel like you have your favorite wrestlers and you also have like your comfort wrestlers, and like all those guys are like comfort wrestlers.
Yeah, it's always funny seeing guys like Hook, like hanging out with them. Guys who like don't connect, like seeing how they like react to the whole thing. Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Ethan as well. Like I think he does a really good job, and he also like kind of when he started kind of getting bigger in the vlog scene, he also had been doing like this big weight loss journey, and I know he picked up a lot of fans throughout that as well, which was it was really cool just seeing his whole transformation, like physically, and then into just like embracing this like nerd collector inside of him and turn that into like this successful side hustle on YouTube and everything. Very, very cool. What other comfort wrestlers do you have?
Danhausen, of course. He's got.
That's all the same crew. Yeah,
yeah, they're like all in the same like squad. I'm trying to think who else would be like those guys for sure. Orange Cassidy's up there too. Those are definitely just like everybody through that whole vlog scene for sure.
Orange Cassidy, the absolute, he's the greatest wrestler in the world. I don't care what anybody says. The gimmick, everything, it's so fantastic. I was going back to your Twitter, the Charlotte Flair robe that you were working on. Looks like it's another one that took forever to do, or is taking forever to do. How much effort is and work is going into that, and how is that just kind of coming along, and everything that goes into the robe that you're putting together to inspired by Charlotte Flair?
It's been a journey. I know I was saying it earlier that like everything keeps going wrong on it, which like sometimes that just happens, like it doesn't go smoothly, but I had this pattern already for like that kind of robe shape. So I was like, all right, we could do this. I think I jinxed myself because I was like, there's no way this could be harder than like my Cody Rhodes jacket. And like, turns out it's been way more difficult. But I've actually wanted to do this cosplay since like I started watching wrestling, because she was probably like my first favorite, just because I didn't really realize at the time that I was like, oh, women, like they could be badass and like do all this cool stuff in the ring. Like that's so cool. So I was really drawn to that. And obviously like the designs are just like so beautiful and flashy, and I'm all about it. But yeah, I have like a due date for it for C2E2 next month. So I'm starting to sweat a little bit, but I'm going to get it done.
See, you know, and for what it's worth, you know, if someone asked me, hey, Steven, who's your favorite male wrestler in the WWE, I'd say Cody Rhodes. And if someone said, who's your favorite female wrestler in the WWE, I'd say Charlotte Flair. And there's a lot of similarities between the two. And that makes a lot of sense to me, that I like, because like I think there's a lot of overlap there, I feel like, with like the designs are obviously much different, but like it's like big, like elaborate robe style stuff. Both have like the bleach blonde hair. You know, like, so it's like, yeah, you have a type, it feels like, which I do as well. So I get it.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm like getting a brand of wrestler, and then like stuff that I'm drawn to like making, I totally have a type, because it's like it's cool jackets, anything that's sparkly and like very dramatic. Yeah, the robe, the coat, like I know we keep talking about the Miz, but I would like love to make one of his jackets, because I think those are so cool, and like a cool jacket, I'm here for it.
You got to do the spinning point if you do the Miz. Like,
oh yeah,
I love that move on there.
And at the end and everything.
How do you feel when you see different wrestlers doing cosplay? Jade Cargill, I think, does an excellent job with the stuff that she does. Zelina Vega is always doing different stuff. The New Day always paying homage to comic books and things like that. Like, how do you feel when you see a wrestler like, oh, look at them, they're doing this as well?
It's really cool, because I always knew there was like crossover between like nerd culture and wrestling and like that cosplay world. And I remember when my friends, the WrestleMania wedding friends, were trying to get me into watching it before I just like found it on my own. They were like all these wrestlers are cosplayers. Like it's basically like the same thing.
Yeah.
What
Sure.
it is. Like, I was talking to one of my like cosplay friends who was saying that they were at Dragon Con, which is like a huge party con in Atlanta, and New Day is like always there as just like regular attendees. And he was saying that he was like, yeah, I was just like talking to like these guys, had no idea, and then it turned out that it was just like the New Day. So like it's so cool to see that.
I know Xavier Woods like requests time off of WWE to like attend these different Comic-Con events and stuff. I know when the Golden Girls were doing theirs, and I think that might have got shut down due to COVID. He was like, nope, got to get this time off. Yeah, Dragon Con, they're definitely big to go into that. Like they just like, yep, doesn't matter what we're supposed to do this weekend, we are going to these conventions. And there's like, you know, they have their up down channel, and I kind of think that's a market that's not tapped into enough, at least on television. when it comes to wrestling, just in general. People like us who are hardcore into it and follow it and see all this, we see it online, but like on TV, you don't always see it and know how like deep they are into this kind of culture.
Yeah, that's like I think that's why I just get so drawn to wrestlers when they have like the vlogs like that, and I know they're like out there going to conventions, because if they like that didn't exist, I'd have no idea like what some of these people were like outside of the ring. But yeah, I very much like love to see it. Like, yeah, Zelina, when she came out at the Rumble, I was like, no, it's so sick. But like, and it also like makes me hope too that like one day there would be like more wrestling that kind of gets ingrained in these Comic Cons, because right now it's sort of like C2E2 is one that brings in some wrestlers. They have some panels, but there's like so many huge Comic Cons and entertainment expos that aren't really like tapping into the like wrestling fandom, I feel like. So I really hope one day we'll get to have some more like that.
Have you ever been to Dragon Con in Atlanta?
No, I had tickets the year of like COVID blew up, so that kind of fell through. That's the bucket list one though.
Gotcha. I live in Atlanta actually. I haven't gone, but like it's honestly it's more so recently just been like a timing thing where I haven't been able to. But like I have friends that aren't even, I wouldn't even consider to be like nerd friends that go, because they're just like, dude, it's crazy down there. Like it's just fun walking around and seeing what's going on. Yeah. And speaking of like the crossover and the misses there with some of the stuff, I totally agree. And I especially thought a couple years ago, or even like I guess a handful of years ago now, I really thought it was a giant miss that the WWE wasn't getting more involved with the Fortnite Twitch streaming kind of like Ninja and Tifu and like all those kind of guys. Like they were so huge with like the kid audiences that we were promoting a PG show for the WWE. Like it was right there. I felt like, but yeah, you're right. There's a ton of crossover in those markets, and they probably don't do a good enough job promoting all that crossover. I think that's a really good point to bring up, because I really feel like most of these Comic-Con type scenarios, there's a giant percentage has got to be wrestling fans.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, and that was proven to me, like just by wearing that cosplay for the first time. It was like, I almost didn't know like how well it would be received, because I didn't know. But like, it turns out I'm like, Jesus, everybody's like a wrestling fan here. Like, what are we doing? Like, we need to like bring this in a little bit more, especially, I know I keep talking about C2E2, but it's like on my mind. It's coming up in a month, but it's actually the same weekend as WrestleMania, which is a little bit of a bummer, because we know we're not going to get like big wrestling guests, but it seems like it's an opportunity to have more like panels for like fans to meet, even just like discuss what's going on, like theories and everything like that. But they really aren't doing much of that, which is really unfortunate. It's totally a miss on that.
Does anyone, sorry Jeremy, just one more follow-up real quick, has anyone mistaken you for Homelander?
It did. Yeah, that did happen. And I just like lean into that because it's funny and I know it's an ongoing joke everywhere. So.
I figure that's probably the same exact thing that happens to all the people that cosplay as the Crow and people come up thinking they're Sting. It happens all the time. So.
Yeah, for sure. And it doesn't help that I've also cosplayed Homelander too. So I'm like, I need to stop with this like red, white, and blue thing.
You just gotta tear the Nightmare logo patches off of your thing, and then you're getting Homelander.
I was gonna say, is there any wrestler who you only have a limited amount of time in the day to do stuff, but is there any wrestler who's like, oh, I would like to put together something from them?
The one that's like the two on the top of my list because they're cool jackets is Jamie Hayter, because I love everything and love her. And I really want to do like make Kip Sabian's coat, because I figured out the same lady that like made Cody's gear also made that one. I'm like, this makes a lot of sense why I want to make it. I love like cool coats, and I would love to work on that. It's like I have all the materials like saved and I really want to do it.
The Kip Sabian with his jacket. Has any wrestler like noticed any of your cosplay stuff and be like, hey, this is really awesome?
Cody did comment on Twitter on my stuff, which was really cool. And I look at that comment a lot when I'm having a bad day. And then
This is Steven Jensen's dream right here to get acknowledged by Cody Rhodes.
I mean, he likes my tweets every now and then, but we don't like have deep conversations, unfortunately. And someone watching this right now should clip her saying that though, because there's a very good chance he'll see her response just then, and that I'm sure he would like to know that when she's having a bad day, the tweet helps out. Yeah. He's out there helping the kids, helping the adults, helping do the work. Believe in yourself. I get it.
Yeah, for sure. Like anytime I'm like really struggling with anything, I'm like, Cody wrestled Hell in a Cell with a torn pec. I can get through anything. Like that's my motto.
Have you? It's totally fine if you don't want to throw this out there, because I could understand why you might not want to. But have you ever like said how expensive some of these things are? Like what you would like value? And once again, I get like if you don't want to say if someone run up and try to grab it from you or something, but like is there kind of a ballpark number that you could give for like some of the stuff you've done?
God, it's all over the board on stuff. And honestly, I'm terrible with budgeting because I know a healthy cosplay thing to do is to actually price out everything and keep a running list. But I just go out, I'm like, this isn't working. I need to buy something new. And I just do it. But I'm trying to think how much I probably put into that. But really, it's just like, it's hard to price things because like, when you spend that many hours on something, and if you figure like, minimum wage per hour you work on it, that just like changes everything. But I've made stuff for like full like foam armor looks for like maybe $30 just using like cheap materials. Like I try to be really resourceful because, I'm just like doing this for fun on the side. So I'm like always thrifting. I'm like just using like strange materials, but it really is all over the place. It could be from like 200 to like 600 spent on something. Like it's all over.
That's awesome.
Do you think Cody is going to beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39?
I have so many like deep thoughts about this all the time.
Share them.
Yes, please.
I don't have deep thoughts. I'm such a big like bloodline fan now. Like, oh my God. And like, I'm going to cry no matter what the outcome is. Because like all I've ever known is like Roman being like the champ and like, it's going to be weird, but I don't know. I feel like yes, because I know like Roman's kind of like getting away from the wrestling thing a little bit more. So it seems like this is a time. I don't know if I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. But I don't know. It's just going to be weird.
That's a really unique perspective to have too. Like I almost wish I was in your shoes. Like me and Jeremy are here, 30 plus year wrestling fans. And like, that'd be super interested to be in your shoes. Like Roman Reigns, only champion you've ever known. Like who's going to take him down? You've seen all these people kind of come and go over the last few years. Cody comes into the company last year, and now 1 year later, like it looks like he could be the guy. And he's your favorite wrestler, and you're also a big Roman fan. It sounds like so. Like this, yeah, you gotta be pumped for WrestleMania.
I'm so excited. Like no matter what, I'm just gonna be sobbing. So it's gonna be good time.
Listen, Cody's gonna win the title. It's gonna be awesome. We're all gonna rejoice. Yeah. And I do, by the way, I really do want to hear that song that you're putting together. The wedding. I think that I don't know if that's something we'd be able to like play on the show or not. I don't know how like copyright would work, but like I'd love for people to hear that too.
Yeah, we'll discuss it and make sure we can get that over.
That'd be awesome.
Last one from me. What is the coolest thing in your room?
You ask everybody. You can go up and get it.
I'm like looking around in here because the cooler stuff is out in the other room.
You can go get it from the other room. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just like picture and like think what I want to grab. We have a whole like Funko Pop like display. We have like the display with the Hell in a Cell like piece of mat on it. We got everything. But
nice.
Nice.
Like the Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins Hell in a Cell piece.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, that's great.
Have it.
That's awesome.
I guess one of the cooler things, and I could go get it it's like I'm not awkwardly running away for a minute, but one of like another cosplayer. She does like a lot of wrestling cosplay, so just kind of bonded through that. But she actually like drew a photo of me like in my Cody Rhodes like get up and everything and like mailed it to me, and it's just like really precious and like sweet to my heart. So that's probably my prized possession out there.
I mean, if you don't mind getting it, you want to show it, like we don't mind waiting for you, but that's totally up to you.
That's okay. I don't want to awkwardly leave you here.
Okay. Well, we can picture it. Maybe if you want to DM me a picture of it, like just take a picture. We'll put a link to it in the description of the video if anyone wants to see it.
Yeah. For sure.
Cool.
Jensen, anything else?
No, I mean, thank you very much for joining us today. Like this is this is something where, you know, I obviously caught my attention with the Cody Rhodes cosplay. I started looking into your Twitter and saw the Charlotte stuff and the Fortnite stuff, and just fascinated by the whole because I think that there's a lot of people out there like you that are maybe not like you in this sense, but I think there's people out there that sometimes might be like too scared to like really like, you know, deep dive into their passion or maybe like be in public, you know, sticking out in public and stuff like that. And I think it's important for people to hear from people like you that are out there just like doing it and really loving it. And yeah, I think it's just really cool. I think it's a world that people should explore more. And I think there's a lot of crossover with the wrestling world, like we were saying. So thank you very much for joining us today. I actually learned a lot about like just cosplay and stuff in general I really didn't know about.
Yeah, that's great then. That's makes me happy to hear, because I love talking about cosplay. I think anybody who's ever even thinking of doing it should try it. It's totally worth it. It's just such a great way to express yourself. Like if I didn't do it, I probably would just like explode with all this like want to like get it out of my system.
Well, thank you again for joining us. Let everybody know where they can find you at.
So my handle, well, on Twitter, it's @cosplay_, but on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, it's just @cosplay.
Right, Fortnite creator code @cosplay_.
Yep, don't forget that one.
There you go. Everyone check out Ashley's social media, again, @cosplay_ on Twitter, and there are links to the other social medias on there as well. Well, again, thank you for joining us. Best of luck to Cody Rhodes as everyone. He's uniting the world as he chases the championship here. And thanks for sharing the story of him just, you know, liking that and how it touched, how it improves your day when you can go back and read it. Because I think those are important stories for fans out there who just don't, you know, whether it's Cody Rhodes, whether it's any wrestler. I think it's an important story of like, man, you know, sometimes I have a shitty day and this helps me out. And thanks for sharing everything when it comes to all the cosplay stuff. Because like Jensen, I find it very fascinating. So we really appreciate you joining us here today. Again, follow Ashley on Twitter. Check out all her work, all the hard work she's doing, whether it's the Cody Rhodes robe or the Charlotte Flair robe or anything else she is doing @cosplay_. Guys, we'll be right back here on the